Everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron. I'm in charge of football, man. This is where it gets exciting, guys. Training camp is opening already all across the NFL. You're hearing and seeing different stories already, guys. You're seeing injuries, believe it or not, and it's always a sad thing. I'm one of those guys. I know you two are the same. Who knows? Mario's a little tougher than I think Josh and I, as far as screw it, wins or wins. I don't root for injuries. Mario might sit there and go, he plays on the Chiefs. We need a couple injuries. We need some things to go our way. But I tell you real quick, because we got a busy show. Kadarius Toney. You guys saw Kadarius Toney already has had to leave the field for the Chiefs. Just last week, we're talking how he's the #1 wide receiver. Now that Hopkins decided not to sign with the Chiefs and sign with the Titans, and you're seeing injuries all over the place. It's the one thing about the NFL, when you see an injury where it's knee or something severe, you know automatically that guy's out for the year. It's just it. It's almost different than any other sport, where it's like every other sport they have time to come back. But in football, in the first week of training camp, you could be done, and we'll see you next season, everybody.
Kadarius Toney gets injured more than anybody in the NFL. Does anybody realize that?
Yeah,
I'm talking more than Saquon Barkley, more than Christian McCaffrey. He is always injured, and he was in the news during the offseason for talking crap to people in their DMs, whether it's women that he's not attracted to or fans that say he can't stay healthy. And then what does he do? He gets hurt right at the beginning of training camp. It is the craziest thing. This guy cannot stay healthy. I'll tell you guys a little story about Kadarius Toney, a personal story. He was recruited by Alabama to play wide receiver, okay, because Nick Saban saw him as a high school quarterback and said he's not a quarterback, he's a wide receiver. Florida offered him a quarterback spot. I said on Facebook, this guy will never play quarterback at Alabama. He should play receiver. And his uncle or dad or something killed me. He's like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. My nephew is a quarterback. He should go to Alabama. Nick Saban's racist. Call Nick Saban racist. So that's why I jumped in. I go, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. If he sees him as a wide receiver, he's probably a wide receiver. Guess what? 7 years later, whatever it is, I'm right. And his uncle was wrong. I just want to point that out. But him getting hurt is just the craziest thing. This guy cannot stay healthy no matter what it is.
You should track him down.
Yeah.
Look, I know he has a Super Bowl ring, but he has a Super Bowl ring as a wide receiver.
I am. I'm going to do it right after the show.
Yeah. Good. Don't let it go.
I'm not. And then send him the show. Yeah. And then subscribe. we get one more subscriber. Solid. That news slowly started rolling in. You saw Hines from a jet ski accident for the Bills. He got hurt, and it looks like he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. So that's crazy for the Bills. Maybe Dalvin Cook watch for them. And they slowly started rolling in. When you mentioned Chiefs right away, I thought you were going to go to Chris Jones, who apparently wants around $30 million a year. I'm just going to say this for the Chiefs. Yeah, he deserves that. Chris Jones, you should wait it out, make him pay. I say bump it up to like 35. Get the 35 option, become the highest paid ever, man. Make him really, really work for it. Make Andy Reid sweat so much he loses 10 pounds. Hey, wait him out. Do what you need to do. Do whatever you want, my man. We got your full support at the Bolt City Podcast. We'll support you if you want us to, I'll go protest in front of Kansas City for you to get you extended and get you as much money as you deserve through years, of beyond football. Get you that New York, the Mets guy, the guy that keeps getting paid by the Mets. Let's get him that type of contract. A Bonilla contract. By 45, he's still getting paid $10 million from Kansas City. I like that. So let's work towards that, guys. Everyone on 3. We're gonna go do that for our good guy Chris Jones.
Isn't it crazy, right? When you look at what guys make in other sports, and that's always what football players will say. Well, the argument back is, is Chris Jones more valuable to the Chiefs than, let's say, Manny Machado is to the Padres? And Manny Machado makes, the same amount, makes $30 million, the money that Chris Jones makes. Yet Manny Machado's team might not make the postseason, and Chris Jones' team's already won 2 Super Bowls, and you sit there and go, what's more valuable? Look, there are 53 guys on the roster. We talk about this all the time as far as money and contracts. I think as football fans, we get tired of it. I get tired of it. And I think we just want to talk about the games that are played Thursday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, Monday. We want to see the games. We worry about wins and losses. A lot of times fans don't even complain about season ticket prices or parking. They just want the game. And so when players are complaining, it gets old. And it's one of the things we've talked about on this show the last few weeks with the running back situation. I was on this show, and no, it was not a popular opinion when I said it, and people got upset going, you don't understand. Of course, you have to give an Austin Ekeler a little bit more money. He signed a contract. It's the biggest issue going on in sports. What happened to giving your word and following through? And this is where you guys call me an old man and everything. Look, you sign a contract and you agree to the deal. It's your job to show up to work and you work it. And I don't understand why you gave a guy like Austin Ekeler more money. Yet you have these guys now, because this has become the biggest story in the NFL about the running back position. And now the running backs are unhappy because they aren't paid what they think they deserve. There's not a fan at home who is sitting there going, man, I'm not watching any Giants football until Saquon's back. There's no one that does that. You can say whatever you want, but running backs come and go in this league all the time. And yeah, are they as valuable as kickers? Yeah, they're more valuable than kickers. They're to the point in fantasy football, right, where we're saying, why are we drafting 2 running backs? I mean, really, we should be drafting 1 running back on our fantasy football team. The running back position isn't as important as what people think it used to be when it was a running league. Mario, go back in the day and watch those old Chicago Bear tapes, man. Look how many guys were jammed in that defensive line. It's different now. It's all spread offense. It's just what it is, man. The game has evolved, and it's more exciting than ever. Sorry that the running backs are left out. But I mean, I'm telling you right now, guys, from my point of view, as you guys start to talk, I'm done with these running backs in their group and their Zoom call, and I don't want to hear a word about it.
Okay, let me ask you a question about that Zoom call. Does it bother you that Austin Ekeler is the one that put it together?
Even more so. You're the one guy that got a raise. Like, you're the one guy that got a raise. You have a contract, you got a raise. Yet you're the guy that's causing all the problems.
That's okay. I'm glad you said that. Mario is actually the one that retweeted a video of his buddies talking about it. And the guy made a great point. Austin Ekeler is the problem. He is an undrafted running back that made it, but yet he's putting together the meeting. It's a complete, it's irony is what it is. So Austin Ekeler complaining because he's the guy that's messing it up for the star first round picks or whatever. It's just complete irony. It's hilarious. And I want Austin Ekeler to be happy because I'm a Charger fan. But him putting the meeting together when he's an undrafted running back makes no sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like you benefited literally from the recipe. You know, like what it is in the
100%.
NFL right now. Like, yeah, you benefited from it, and then now you want to go back and go, oh wait, well, let's not have this go on anymore. Look, it's interesting. It's the Zoom meeting. Like, when I heard about it, I was just like one of those where I was like, I feel like there's got to be more interesting stuff coming on in the news cycle right before training camp than this. And I was going through scenarios. I was reading scenarios. I was on Pro Football Talk reading about like situations and ways they can kind of fix the shortage of money going towards the running backs. And when one of them was the league adopted a fund that would pay the running backs for their performance independent of the salary cap. Now, does that sound like a good idea? Yes. In a way, for the running backs, it does. But that's such a dangerous game. That's such a dangerous game to play. What happens when the receivers want that? What happens when a linebacker wants that? We just saw Roquan Smith with the whole thing saying he wants to reset the linebacker market. What happens if a cornerback wants that? What happens when these edge rushers? And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I literally wrote it down on my phone right away. How many years in a row now have we seen a new receiver class that we're in awe with, right? That we're like, dude, this receiver class is so deep. We've said that like a good amount. And so far it's been proven right. When will some GMs go, why would I trade for Tyreek Hill and pay him this amount of money? Why would I go after and get this guy for this amount of money when I can just reload? When I can get a Jordan Addison in the 20s and, you know, don't put him in a car, but he will play good for you on the football field. So that's just like what I was thinking about. I'm like, look, I don't know how to fix it. There's more coming in, and it's just one of those things you're going to have to live with. Can you work to get more guaranteed money at the beginning of your contract? Maybe. You'll see how that goes. I don't know. But I am getting sick of it. It's like the running back. Ooh, good question, gentlemen. Which are you more sick of? We're all in the sports radio business. The running back talk, Shohei Ohtani getting traded, or Dame Lillard getting traded. Because that's like the 3 most popular subjects to talk about on Sports Radio and Sports TV. Let's hit those top 3 and bang it home, bang it home.
For me, it's going to be the running backs, because in 2 weeks, no one's going to be talking, or in a week, no one's going to talk about Shohei. Yeah. And then Lillard will get traded, and no one's going to talk about that. It's going to be the running back situation, because this is a topic that's going to be from years to come. I just want to update the people that were listening on who was on this Zoom call. Okay. Who are the people that were involved? As I say, you tell me which one of these guys was in a Super Bowl. Okay. Last year. Show you how valuable he was. Austin Ekeler, okay? He's the one that started the whole damn thing. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. So far, I'm getting through guys that didn't even win a playoff game. Christian McCaffrey, Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, J.K. Dobbins. Now, J.K. Dobbins.
Why is Harris? Yeah. Why is Harris?
J.K. Dobbins has been such a disappointment. I mean, good God, dude.
What the hell are you doing?
The people that show up to their jobs at fast food restaurants more than J.K. Dobbins shows up. Maybe he should just stay back. You know what I mean? J.K. Dobbins has been a huge disappointment. Stay healthy once in a blue moon. You've been stealing money for years. J.K. wears a mask when he shows up on Fridays to get his check. For the fact that he's even getting anything, maybe you should stop talking. You know?
J.K. Dobbins is the guy that runs the slideshow. Hey, next.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, so as I pointed out, that list right there's some very talented guys on that list. Okay, it does not equal what is the ultimate goal for a franchise, and that is winning a Super Bowl. Okay, now I'm gonna give you guys a list from 2022 to 2012. All right, in the NFL of the leading running back for Super Bowl championship teams. Okay, it will astonish you. In 2022, Isaiah Pacheco was the leading rusher for the Chiefs. Beast. 830 yards, drafted in the 7th round. Drafted in the 7th round. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Rutgers guy.
Say that again.
Rutgers, Big Ten guy.
Okay. My point is, though, again, a year ago at this time, none of us knew who he was.
Nope.
Right? 2021, Sonny Michel, the Rams, 845 yards. Guy's been and what do the Rams do? Bye. Goes to Miami, comes back. And he's still not the number one guy. Cam Akers ended up being the number one guy. Just a few years ago, 2020, Buccaneers. You guys have any idea who it was?
Fournette.
Ronald Jones.
It was Ronald Jones, 978 yards. Ooh. Still not 1,000. None of these guys have 1,000. 2019, San Diego guy, Josh, for the Chiefs. Who was the guy?
Damian Williams.
498 yards. All right, 498 yards. Leading rusher.
This is good. It's good stuff.
2018, Sonny Michel again for the Patriots. 931 yards. Still, no one with 1,000 yards. Nobody with 1,000 yards. Here's the most interesting guy on the list to me. 2017 Eagles. Can you guys guess who it is?
LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount? Wow.
Yeah, Blount. I've heard this list before. Yeah. I knew that one was Blount.
766 yards. Still no one with 1,000. Now here we go. 2016, the Patriots. We do have someone with 1,000 yards. It's 1,161 yards. You want to take a guess who it is?
Kevin Falk. I'm just kidding.
Want to guess, Mario?
Is it Blount again?
It's LeGarrette Blount again.
Yeah. I remember that storyline of him winning the back-to-back. I remember
back-to-back with two different teams and beat his former team.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
2015, the Cam Newton game where Cam Newton wouldn't die for the ball on a loose ball. And Peyton Manning's last game, he won a Super Bowl.
Business decision.
Was it
horrible business decision?
Was it No Sean Reno?
Nope. Ronnie Hillman.
Ronnie Hilliard? I knew it.
Hillman.
San Diego State.
San Diego
State.
863 yards. Okay.
And he passed away, correct? Did he pass away?
Wow, really?
Ronnie's the one that got sick, huh? Ronnie is the one that got sick last year.
He is.
Yep. All right. Here we go. This is my favorite one on the list right here. We're almost done. 2014 Patriots. Leading rusher, 412 yards. I literally would say to you, I'll buy you a car, Mario, if you got the answer to this. But I'm not going to.
Woodhead?
No. You want to take a guess, Josh? 412 yards.
Is he still in the league?
No, of course he's not in the league. That's my point.
Yeah. Who is it?
Jonas Gray. How do you guys miss that?
Yeah, my bad.
Jonas Gray. That's unbelievable.
All right, here we go. 2013 Seahawks were over 1,000 yards. We all know it's Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
1,257. And going back to 2012, we're at 10 years. Ray Rice. How many yards for Ray Rice?
50.
I bet they're.
Oh, in the game or the season?
Season.
1,500. I bet 1,500 because Flacco was stealing it.
1,200.
No. This is running, but these are just yards running. This is rushing yards.
Yeah. He said 1,500. I said 1,200
yards.
It's 660, guys. 660. Wow. Okay, so the argument back is that list wasn't impressive at all. Matter of fact,
no,
I don't even know there's a Hall of Famer on this list. Marshawn would be the closest one.
Marshawn is a wait. Okay, timeout. Marshawn's 100% a Hall of Famer.
I hope he is. I love Marshawn Lynch. I'm a big
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch fan. I hope he is. Just not so sure on anything anymore. So you go through this list from 2012 to 2022 seasons, and none of the guys on there are guys that we're talking about, like Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, those kind of running backs. The guys that, Franco Harris, guys who won Super Bowls and were a big part of the Super Bowl wins. So when I'm an owner, or if I'm with a players association, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Your position's not obsolete, but at the same time, it doesn't equal wins. If you go on the injured list, it doesn't make a difference if our team wins and loses, is basically what we're telling you. That for fantasy football makes a difference, for fans, everything else. Are they more important than kickers? Yeah, I think they're more important than kickers. But man, are they more important than cornerbacks? I don't think so. Are they more important than a shutdown corner?
No, they're not.
No. Are they more important than an edge rusher? Probably not.
No.
Well, also to your point, like I remember reading something today, like a boycott that they do with like all the running backs or like boycott.
Okay.
That would go so that Ekeler, that's how you made it, dude. Like if I'm a running back in the NFL, right? I'm a third stringer and I hear about them doing this boycott. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd be like, I'm all for it. Do your boycott. I'll go start week 1. I don't like that'd be my thing. I'm like, yeah, you want to boycott? Dude, go ahead, boycott. Like, you're not gonna get everyone behind that. Like, there's just no way in hell. These like the non-drafted, these 7th rounders, 6th rounders, they're gonna be pumped up. I'm gonna get a start week 1. I'm gonna dominate. Thanks for nothing, man. Eat the Doritos on the couch. Hopefully you have the Sunday ticket. Like, let's just have, I'll have myself a day on Sunday and you can watch.
Yeah, what happens when Jonathan Taylor's backup runs for 130 yards? What happens next? Now you have Jonathan Taylor rooting against his teammate. Is that what you want? Yeah. I mean, it's the dumbest thing in the world. Why would anybody do that? And you're already fighting against time. That's the whole thing with Austin Ekeler, right? He's coming up in his late 20s. Why would you give away any of your games? It makes no sense at all. You're not getting paid more later in your career. So why would you give the opportunity to Josh Kelly or the backups on any of these other teams? It's the stupidest idea of all time.
Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing last year, was seen getting on an airplane today, leaving Las Vegas. Okay. So where are you going? You want to get paid next year, go ahead and leave. What, are you going to sit out the year? You aren't going to get paid. You aren't going to have every team in the league bidding on you because you think you're valuable and someone else might. So let me ask you, you guys play owner. All right. I'm Jonathan Taylor and I'm Nick Chubb. I walk in and I say, I want to talk about my contract. I'm not happy. Don't you say back to me as the owner, well, to explain to me why we didn't win a playoff game last year. As a matter of fact, how come we weren't in the playoffs last year? What is your response back to the owner? Deshaun Watson sucked? Oh, so you're saying the quarterback's important for you to do well. Matt Ryan wasn't good anymore? Oh, you're saying the quarterback. But what is your argument back? They literally could have not made the playoffs without you, yet you're sitting there telling everybody how important you are to the team and why you deserve a raise.
It comes down to wins. I mean, just like you said, Derrick Henry, to me, Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor and Austin Ekeler, those 3 guys have the worst argument. Derrick, you are the team, and we did not win. We're one of the worst teams in the league, actually. So I don't know why you're in my office talking to me about more money when your production does not equal wins. It's a stupid. Yeah. I just cannot believe this is still a thing.
Matter of fact, I tried to trade you, Derrick, and nobody wanted you.
True. Yeah.
Seriously.
That's a good point.
They chopped him all off season. Yet they couldn't get a draft pick for him high enough to say it's worth it.
They put him on sale, clearance.
I will say with Josh Jacobs holding out and say he's not going to be back anytime soon, I'd like to say thank you so much, Josh Jacobs. You just have my favorite bet of all time. That's Broncos minus 3.5 in week 1. I'm in love with that. I want to marry that, kiss it on the cheek every single night before I go to bed. Go, mwah, like, love you. I already bet probably everything in my BetMGM account on it. I can't wait for that Jimmy G physical, all that bull crap going on too. Raiders, you never disappoint, sweetheart. Keep doing you.
Okay. So, Josh, what if what they're saying is a threat that every one of these running backs are guaranteed to sit out week 1 as a sign of unity? What's your attitude?
Do it. Do it. You're not going to get more money.
The only people you're hurting is the fantasy football team. That's it.
I was going to say fantasy football is going to get screwed.
Yeah, but no one.
Josh Jacobs doesn't care. Yeah, Josh Jacobs.
None of those guys care.
Every year he does that thing where he tells you he's not going to play and then he plays, or the vice versa of that. Guys like Josh Jacobs do not care about your fantasy football team. Austin Ekeler says he cares. He might, but he's not going to care enough to play week 1 if they all sit out. So it doesn't make any sense. A bet that I would hammer if I'm anybody out there is the under on the Raiders everything this year. I've never seen a team go after a GM like the players on the Raiders have this entire offseason. Max Crosby has said the GM sucks. Devontae Adams has said the GM sucks. Josh Jacobs has says the GM sucks. Dude, Raiders are in for a bad year. Dude, the GM is a former high school counselor, by the way. Do you know that? This is Taylor Lewan's high school counselor in Arizona. He's the GM for the Raiders. And I'm not saying he's not qualified, but holy crap, dude. The guy was a counselor like 10 years ago in high school. And now he's running the operations for the Raiders.
You know, we've seen crazier things. You remember Brian Billick from the Ravens? Guy was the public relations guy for San Diego State. I mean, he ended up being a head coach in the NFL. Like that, all that's crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy from the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a good guy.
But I like your bet. I like your bet props. I would take everything under on the Raiders too.
Dude, the Raiders hate management like no other, man. It seems like a whole Dan Snyder thing again in Vegas where they're just totally against the management. It's pretty interesting. Good thing for Chargers.
It's beautiful. It's fun. I want to keep doing it. Keep going on. Have fun.
Keep doing it. So, again, to go back to your first thing, Josh and Mario, does it bother you that Austin Ekeler is the one leading the charge? No pun intended.
It pisses me off, dude. I think, like I said earlier, he is the reason why there's a problem amongst the top running backs. I would shut your mouth. I think you should get paid more, 100%. You're very important to the Chargers, but you're not in the top 5 of importance. Josh Kelly should be licking his chops because he could have an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm with Josh. Like, I mean, it doesn't really piss me off. It makes me like laugh because of just how he came up. And I think if the way he said things was different, it would bother me. Like if he was really trying to be like, screw you and saying like that and more that direction, that'd piss me off. But he hasn't. Like he's been very like kind of, I guess, respectful about it. It's more of I just don't really care because I don't see anything happening with it. Like they're not going to boycott. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. And you can bring up a fund. I don't think that's going to happen either. I think what happens is these NFL owners are stubborn. They're pricks. They've been pricks. They've always been pricks. They're billionaires. Billionaires are pricks. That's how you get to be a billionaire. You know, that's just what it is. And if you didn't become a billionaire yourself, your parents were billionaires. I bet they were pricks. So they're just gonna wait them out. Who cares, dude? Like that's the kind of the point where I'm at, where I'm like, do the Zoom call, unity. That's great, man. Come all together, do it. RBU camp, there's a tight end camp. Prove your worth, whatever. High five each other after a game. Jersey swap, cute pick, socials, great. See you next week. See you week 1. See you week 2. See you week 17. See you in the playoffs. That's just what it is. Until the league goes back to a dominant run game, nothing's going to change, man. Nothing's going to change. If anything, honestly, if you want to make it better for you, have a running back and go become receivers, guys. Become more of a receiver. Work on route running. Work on more of that stuff. Do that, and let's see if the payment changed. That's what I would do if I was them. Work it for the young guys and go, look, we're probably done. We're probably screwed, but if you guys come up and, you guys are more of a receiver and a running back at the same time, let's see what happens for you guys.
All right, so a couple things. One is you could change your title and say, look, I'm going into camp, and from now on, I want to be recognized as a receiver. I mean, Austin Ekeler does catch a ton of passes out of the backfield.
Okay, how'd that work for Debo?
Well, it's funny because remember Debo, that's what I was going to bring up. Debo brought up that whole thing. I don't want to run the ball like I did the year previous. I want to be basically looked at more as a receiver. And then they had to go out and get, Christian McCaffrey. He goes, it is, basically ripping my body apart. You guys give me the ball as much as you do. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'm just not going to do it 17 weeks out of the year on a regular basis. I want to be a guy that, in special situations, yeah, I understand there's mismatches on the field. But he says, man, you guys are going to shorten my career by keeping me as a running back. The other part is, one of you guys said, I think, Mario, you just said it at the very beginning as well, about having a separate salary cap for running backs. You could solve a lot of this, and this is where the CBA and Players Association messes up. You could solve a lot of this if you were to make that move, but you do it with quarterbacks. It's the quarterbacks that are taking the entire cap. If the smart move would be for running backs in every other position to say, quarterbacks get their own salary cap, whether it's $50-60 million. It's just such a huge chunk of money where a quarterback is making 6 times the amount of the next highest paid guy on the team. That's the only way to do it. But you can't go running back and say we want a separate cap for running backs. Now, all of a sudden, you're breaking your union apart. Union's falling apart.
You open up a horrible can of worms for tight ends and receivers and every other position once you do that. I agree. The quarterbacks should probably have a different salary cap because their contracts are astronomical. But what are you going to do? Not pay your quarterback? Even Kirk Cousins, for God's sakes. How much money does Kirk Cousins make? And he's like 12th best quarterback in the league. I think that's where you would start if you do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation for the running backs. There's no good outcome, I think, of this whole thing.
No, I tell you what I say. I blame the moms. Moms across the country. It's your fault. You guys had to brag to your neighbors and everyone at the grocery store that my baby scored 7 touchdowns a game on a Saturday. Since he was 8 years old, you've been saying the same thing and how great it was. Well, guess what? Now your baby's grown up and he's in a horrible financial situation. His career's over at age 27. Now what? Guess what? That fat kid playing left tackle, still playing, making a ton of money.
Go get your NIL money, running backs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. If you guys had a kid, and besides quarterback, what position would you tell your kid to work out for once you start training? Is this?
Well, it depends on the size. Okay, Mari, you aren't a small guy, but you're the smallest guy on the team. Okay,
no, Mari,
let's say you have a kid that's 6 feet tall. What position?
I'm not telling him to play quarterback at all. I would tell him to stay away from QB. That'd be my first thing. I would tell my kid. Actually, funny enough, I would say linebacker. I'd go linebacker. Probably slot. I played slot and it was kind of fun. So I go, a little slot or linebacker. I beef him up. I would call him like Bo or Bucky. Bubba. Hit him a little bit. If he's linebacker, I'm kidding. But yeah, I would want him to be a linebacker, like slot. That'd be kind of cool. That was my dream position. I always want to play linebacker.
Dude,
I'm with you on the slot.
Linebacker. Yeah, I would not pick linebacker. Your kid would need directions in his wallet just to get home from the CTE. No way would I tell him to play linebacker.
Wait, is he like making it to the NFL?
Yeah, the NFL.
Oh, yeah. I thought you. Oh, dude. Well, look, it's not in the hair and blood to make it that far. So I would probably. So yeah, definitely receiver. I'd say go to receiver, 100%.
That's tough, man. I think I'd either go edge rusher like Nick Bosa or left tackle. That'd probably be the direction I'd go. Good. Yeah, I don't know. What do you say, Dave?
I would have said left tackle, but here's the deal: when you're a left tackle and you give up a sack, everybody knows you blew it.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, everyone knows you blew it. You know, even if nobody gets a sack against you, no one's driving home going, "Man, you see our left tackle today?" Like no one talks about the left tackle. They only talk about you if you blow it. But if you're dominating, no one's even talking about you. The position's edge rusher. If you're an edge rusher and you get to the quarterback, you're a stud. Even if you get to him twice in the game. You did your job 2 times out of, 70 plays. You're a stud. But if you don't get to the guy, you're supposed to get to him anyway. You know,
would
people follow.
Would you rather have TJ Watt? Would you rather have TJ Watt as your kid or Travis Kelce? Personalities aside.
Oh, that's funny.
God, it's 2 sucky cities to visit too. Probably go Pitt. Because the fans would be a lot more fun. I'd go Pitt. And
you wouldn't love Travis Kelce being your kid scoring on the best team. That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, but pretty cool. But I have to be in Kansas City with Kansas City fans who are out there like playing dress up and robbing places and then getting arrested for it. Like, I'm not gonna want to be doing that. I don't want to be doing with that.
Dude, didn't you see Batman? Bad things happen in Pittsburgh. The whole football field.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, your son's got to defeat Bane. So that's a good sidekick. That's a kicker.
I think it's easier to be an edge rusher than be Travis Kelce. I'm right. There's only like 2 or 3 guys that even seem like what Travis Kelce's done, but they're edge rushers every single year. I don't know, man. It's a funny question. But yeah, left tackle, man. We all know they get paid, man. But when you blow it, everybody knows, man. They're doing a sack dance and everything.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
All right, let's parlay that into the Hall of Fame debate. Where does Travis Kelce rank amongst the greatest tight ends of all time?
Go ahead, Mark.
I mean, I'm gonna have to pull up some stats here before I say officially.
All right, I'll go first.
A hot topic, yeah.
You want me to go first? For years, I would have told you it was Gronkowski was the best, but Gronkowski got hurt a lot. He missed a lot of games. Mm-hmm. For me, Kelce's one. He's the best.
He's one for me too. I hate it.
He's better than Gates. He's better than Tony Gonzalez. He's the best. I mean, we've seen him for years. We watched him in the division. He's always open. He's fast as hell. I mean, they got rid of Hill last year, and he's still great. He's the best tight end I've ever seen in football.
I hate it. I hate that
he stays healthy.
Yeah, he stays healthy. He plays every game. Always produces. Nobody, even Derwin James, can't stop him. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Rob Gronkowski, though, when we did see him when we were working for the San Diego Chargers, was like unbelievably fast. And Travis
Couldn't
Kelce
believe
really
how fast
fast.
he was.
I could not believe how fast Gronkowski was, because you watch him on TV, you're like, oh, I mean, he's kind of quick, I guess. Super fast.
He looks like when you're cheating in Madden and you're creating your own player, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You cannot guard him. Gronkowski, I think, is right there. Travis Kelce. I think those are definitely the top two. Would you agree, Mario?
Durability.
Yeah,
durability.
Well, you guys are forgetting about the late great Mike Ditka, but Mike Ditka, def kind of
throw the ball twice a game to him. Maybe.
I mean, I just wanted to throw that in there because that's one. My poppy always said that. They talk about great tight ends, and he would just scream, "They're like, don't forget about Ditka." So you got to throw in Ditka. Rest in peace. He was kind of a jerk, anyways. So yeah, I don't know. Like, so I'm looking at it right now. Gronkowski had a total of 9,286 receiving yards. His average was 15, which is kind of insane per reception. Per game, I think Kelce, as I'm looking right now, has the most at 71.8. The fact about Kelce is we don't know how much longer he will be at the top, living at the top as he's right now. And every year where I kind of think he's going to take a step back, he keeps taking like another step forward. I think the other thing that helps him too is he's in such a brilliant offense, and he's so good at just finding the holes, right? Like, I think the greatest thing that Kelce can do is he just finds these, like, they're just stupid ways to get open. He just goes that little extra inch that somehow he's right there and Mahomes can zip it in. And I don't know if at the moment I'm ready to say that he's better than Gronkowski, but I guess in 2 to 3 years, I mean, he's at 10,300 receiving yards, and the top is Tony Gonzalez at 15K. 2 to 3 years, does Kelce grab him? Maybe. Then he will surpass Antonio Gates, which is right in front of him. So I think if he just even flirts within that top 3, which I imagine that he will, I think there's
how many receptions does the leading receiver have? Leading tight end receiver? What did you say?
Of all time, it's Tony Gonzalez at 15,127 receiving yards.
Okay, how many receptions?
1,325.
Mike Dick had 427. And before you get any messages,
he's
Mario,
alive.
He's alive, dude.
Yeah, I meant my poppy. My poppy's dead. Not Dicka.
It's just, I swear to God, it made it sound like you said Mike Dick.
Oh, did I really?
Rest in peace.
Well,
his soul, all that. I was like, God, no.
Well, I really hope that if anyone's listening to the pod, they stop right there, because then they think I just told them that Dicka died, and then they're gonna go tell their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's probably gonna lose a bet at the dinner table tonight because of you.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Hopefully, it was a cheap dinner.
83 years old, Mike Dick is.
There you go. 83 years young.
There you go. Oh my God. Oh my God. I swear to God, I thought you just announced his death right on the show.
No, but yeah, I would give a whole spiel if Dicka passed. I read a poem and I'd read it on air. That guy's pretty funny.
Yeah, I smoked a cigar with him once in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, way back in 2007. Mike Ditka, Reggie Jackson, and me smoking cigars. It was cool as hell. Ditka was, Reggie wasn't.
Fair enough. Not surprised. The thing that is surprising is Gronkowski has 4,000-yard seasons his whole career. Travis Kelce has had a 1,000-yard season every year since 2016.
Yeah, that's absurd.
It is incredible.
Absolutely incredible. But all right, let's get into the real debate that we want to talk about today. Okay. It's a hot topic. It's been a hot topic for the last few years. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? And I'm going to give the floor to Mario first, because he's the only one that's not from California. So I'm really curious what he thinks, because he's not, around the team as much as we were going to the games. So do you think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer?
Not a first ballot, but he is a Hall of Famer. 8-time Pro Bowler, NFL passing leader in 2010, NFL passing touchdown co-leader in 2008, comeback player of the year in 2013, 6th in passing touchdowns of all time, streak of 240 straight starts. That's only behind Brett Favre. 6th in passing yards, 7th in passing completions. All that screams to me and leads to me to point, yes, he is a Hall of Famer. First ballot, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think that. But at the end of the day, whenever it is, when his time comes, he does deserve that jacket. He does deserve that weird statue that they do of your smile. His is gonna look nuts. One of the best trash talker in all of NFL history. The guy talks trash without cussing. That's so impressive and so well done. He was a hell of a player. He fell short in some areas. He obviously was never able to get a Super Bowl. I believe he had a 5-7 playoff record. Was never able to get over the hump. Did have some points when he looked like the best quarterback in the league. Did he ever win an MVP? No, I think that also hurts him. He is a Hall of Famer. Now, do you want me to sell you on first ballot? I don't think so. I don't think he's a first ballot one at all. But at the end of the day, he deserves to be in there. And yeah, I think so. It's interesting to see this argument. I will say, I feel like is only going to get weaker in terms of with how the league is going and how many times they pass the ball. These records are only going to get dumped and dumped and dumped more. So whoever's 6th in passing touchdowns right now, honestly, man, in 10 years, he could be like 12. Like he just could be with the rate we're going right now with these great quarterbacks and the way they sling it and deal it. But yeah, yes, Hall of Famer, first ballot. I won't flirt with you on that one.
All right. So, Josh, Josh and I have an argument, a piece in here that we're so proud of that we know that we're like, this is why he's a Hall of Famer. Okay, I'll ask you guys before Josh and I talk. Do you think he gets in the Hall of Fame?
I think he does, and I'm not going to agree with the reason why I think he does. Mario kind of alluded to it. His likability and his durability. I think durability definitely should be maybe a reason why, but I don't think likability should be a reason why you get in the Hall of Fame. I think the Terrell Owens thing about being a jerk, not getting in the Hall of Fame on the first try is ridiculous. Because Terrell Owens, for anybody that ever watched, knew he was one of the greatest of all time. Barry Bonds is a huge jerk. I mean, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but you got guys like Frank Thomas who are jerks. Ty Cobb, all-time jerk. It's how good you were on the field. And I think it comes down to how great was Phillip Rivers. He never made it to a Super Bowl. Wasn't really even close to making it to a Super Bowl, to be honest with you. I think he does get in the Hall of Fame just because of his likability and his durability. And he's statistically, he's up there in passing yards and touchdowns and all those things. But he shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do think he does get in.
Okay. I don't think he gets in. Okay. I don't think he gets in the Hall of Fame. Do I think he's a Hall of Famer? Yes, I do think he's a Hall of Famer. That consecutive game streak's really impressive. By the way, if I was Eli Manning, I'd be upset because Eli actually had the record, was ahead of Rivers always by a few games. But what happened was Eli, remember, had the run-in with the coach who said he wanted to give Daniel Jones a shot. And then the fan base lost their mind about, should Daniel Jones be starting quarterback or should Eli be the starting quarterback? And Eli says, basically, I'll take a step back. And he ruined his consecutive game streak because Eli did a little bit of a pissing contest with him. Here's why Phillip Rivers belongs in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. Okay, and this should be the argument. Josh knows exactly what I'm going to say. September 2018, the Chargers were in Buffalo playing the Buffalo Bills. Mario, do you remember what happened at halftime?
What's his name? Quit? Retired?
Vontae Davis in the middle of the goddamn game says, I'm retiring. I'm getting my ass kicked. And he goes, I'm leaving. He told his teammates, I'm leaving. And it go, I mean, you're win. And right now, you're going to retire in the middle of the game. Phillip Rivers embarrassed him so much and made him question his manhood so much that he literally packed up at halftime and left an NFL game and retired. Right there because of Phillip Rivers. Anyone that's good enough to make you retire and quit your craft and always have that hanging above your head. Doesn't matter what you did in high school, what you did in college, what you did in the NFL. I don't care how much money you made. This was a player that wasn't a bad player, yet all of a sudden Rivers embarrassed him so bad in the first half, he just retired. Name another NFL quarterback who's ever done that to anybody. It's never happened. He belongs in the Hall of Fame because the story is amazing. It's an amazing story.
But
if I was Rivers, I would tell him, I don't think he gets in.
Why
which is sad because he didn't win a Super Bowl. He didn't go to a Super Bowl. You know, yeah, he made it to the AFC Championship game. Of course, he loses to the Patriots and all that stuff. And you know, here's the deal. He played that AFC Championship game against the Patriots with a blown out knee. Remember? He stayed in and played. And then he got LaDainian with his visor on, crying, sitting on the bench like a baby, not helping out the next guy that might need a little bit of help of what he sees. But LT's not the team guy. Rivers was the team guy. The deal is, though, we all know that class. That class was Eli. That class was Rivers. That class was Roethlisberger. Eli and Roethlisberger are both going to get in the Hall of Fame. They won Super Bowls. And Rivers, who I think honestly would have won Super Bowls if he was quarterback of the Steelers, would have won Super Bowls if he was quarterback of the Giants. He's the one that won't get in. I just don't think he gets in.
sucks, man. I think he's the most borderline Hall of Fame player like you could ever imagine. It's
For us
crazy.
who saw him all the time, we know what he can do. And the thing is, he wasn't cool looking. That's another problem, Mario. Nobody went in the backyard and go, "Hey, dude, I'm Rivers," and then you be someone else. I'm gonna throw the ball to you. Rivers threw the ball like Uncle Rico. It wasn't cool. There's nothing cool about that arm slide.
No,
you know what I mean?
The way he threw the ball, it made it look like it was so hard for him to throw the ball. Like every time he threw it, I'm like, is that ball gonna go 5 yards? Because it looks like he looked like he had to put so much effort into throwing the ball that he had like seven surgeries on his arm going on at that exact moment. I'm like surprised how bullish you guys are on him making it in. I think it's a no doubt that he makes it in. Like, I really do. I don't think it's a challenge at all.
Oh, I really hope he
really.
Does. I'm glad you said that because we watched him up close from California. We're thinking we're the only ones that know how good he is. We kind of wonder, does the rest of the country know how good Phillip Rivers is? Speaking of the way he throws, by the way, Mario, he throws the most catchable ball of anyone I've ever seen. Like, you always hear these quarterbacks, he could throw it through a barn. Rivers, man, threw the ball just perfectly soft. I mean, you don't drop Phillip Rivers passes. The way he laid it in there perfectly to you, anybody could have caught it.
Yeah, and he catches eggs, that's for sure. Yeah. Get that one.
I bet you.
Yeah, dude. He has like 9. He has like 9 girls or something. 8 daughters. That's a lot, dude. That's amazing to have that many daughters. That's a lot of.
It is.
Okay, let me ask you a question because people would always compare Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan made it to a Super Bowl, won the MVP, has a bunch of passing yards. Does he get in the Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. I think if this was. I always just go back to if this was NBA Hall of Fame, they're both first ballots probably. I think Matt Ryan gets
basketball,
in.
everybody gets in.
Yeah, everybody gets in. Play 2 seasons, win a title, you're in.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not a Hall of Famer to me. Matty Ice? No. Yeah, he won MVP. He lost a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan's not a Hall of Famer to me.
So people think he gets in over Phillip Rivers. Like he has a better case because he won the MVP and he got to the Super Bowl. But he was never a top quarterback to me. I know he won the MVP, but he was never in the top tier. And that's the thing with Phillip Rivers. I love Phillip Rivers, but he was never in the class of Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. He just wasn't. He was in he was like the first guy in the next tier. I'd put it that way. And he's my favorite player. I hope he gets.
Yeah, they're both cases of. Remember the Falcons were the best regular season of all time, and they could never just win the game in the playoffs. Similar, I guess, to the Chargers in a way. They're the case of they never got over the hump. They never took the next step. They were always in the good tier, not the great tier. It's like if Josh Allen never did anything else. If he stayed in what he's doing right now, never did anything else, that's the tier he'd be in. It's like, yeah, you were good, but you're never great. You never beat Burrow. You never beat Mahomes. You never won a title. You never even got an MVP. Even though I think he'll probably get MVP in 2 years because it's just whenever you're due. But I think that's the part that's hard is that they're in that good tier, not a great tier. Gentlemen, we also have breaking news right now. Another NFL player has been suspended for betting.
Camp. Who really?
Yep. We just got it. Another player. Bengals player. I'm going to screenshot send it to you guys, and we can play a guessing game of who wants to try to pronounce his name because I'm telling you right now, I'm going to butcher it really bad.
Josh will do it. Josh will get it right.
All right. But
you know how he got caught, right? He bet somebody that Mike Ditka was dead because of Mario.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a big thing on BetMGM. Was that inclusive thing? But it's Iyama Uwertsky, maybe.
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that.
It's so hard to pronounce. I so badly wish I knew how to pronounce that. I'm gonna look it up real quickly. This is probably really good radio, but that's another player that has been suspended for betting. That's not good, gentlemen. That is really, really, really not good.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's probably not on the Lions. That's what they do.
And the Colts. Yeah,
the Colts.
Hey,
I'm not surprised though. These guys are idiots. To go back to the argument, let me ask Dave this question because he's a fan of his. Is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer?
No, that's a good one. His numbers are ridiculous. He used to always be criticized for not winning postseason games, but he did win a Super Bowl. That's a borderline one. Yeah, you know what? I bet he gets in. That Super Bowl carries a lot of weight.
You think Matt Stafford gets in and Matt Ryan?
I don't. I'll be honest with you, and it's frustrating. Yeah, I think Matt Stafford's better than Matt Ryan, but I also think Rivers is better than Matt Stafford. How about the Rams are shopping Matt Stafford right now before the season?
Dude, you can't shop him with what he's going through personally. You can't.
I bet he gets it. Any Owazurike. Owazurike. He has been suspended for sports gambling. Tough one. All right, we got that one out of the way. Good job, guys. No, I bet Stafford gets in, actually. Super Bowl, and he had some really killer seasons for Lions. I bet he gets it's a late get in. It's like the end of time, Richard Dent got in, and he was the MVP of the Super Bowl in '85, and he got it in like the 2010s. And his records didn't even stand like that tall anymore. It was like, oh, really? But he got in.
Yeah. I would have hated if Stafford got in, but Matt Ryan, to me, I just never thought was that great. I never thought Matt Ryan was very good. So I don't know. That's my one thing. And I want to point out something how Mario said it pays off to be a jerk. He's 100% correct. Yeah. All right. So Dan Snyder bought the then Washington Redskins for $800 million in 1999. Okay. He sold the team for $5 billion, and he had more investigations than wins. That just is a clear example of being a jerk is going to pay off in life. So if you want to just be an ass, if you want to just be a bad person, just look at Dan Snyder. $5 billion he sold that team for, and he did nothing with it. In 2008, they're number one in attendance in the NFL. Last year, last in attendance. It's a $5 billion buyout for selling the team. It's the most incredible thing for just being a jerk.
$60 million that does get taken away because he has to pay a fine on the way out.
True.
Yeah, there's something written in there where he actually gets in the sale where he actually gets that $60 million taken care of. He doesn't touch him. It doesn't
really.
Yeah, the only thing that's negative for Snyder is his reputation. He's known as being the biggest jerk on the planet, and the Commanders are building a brand new stadium. They're already season tickets are through the roof, even though they don't have a franchise quarterback. Everybody is supporting, that franchise. That used to be the hardest ticket in the NFL was to get to a Washington Redskins game back in the 80s. And he completely ruined that franchise. Ruined it. And he was a lifelong fan of the team, and he ruined that franchise.
Who's worse, the guy from the Clippers or him?
The guy from the Clippers is worse.
Are you sure?
Just as a human being, yeah.
Dude, Dan Snyder's pretty bad.
I don't know, man. It's pretty close. I guess I shouldn't be so quick. Donald Sterling's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. They're both bad guys. But
let us know in the comments. Would you rather work for Donald Sterling or Dan Snyder? Let us know in the comments.
That's a good point.
Or third, the devil. So it's just yeah.
Crazy. Magic Johnson was in on both things, right? Donald Sterling was talking about Magic Johnson. And
Magic Johnson.
Dan Snyder, Magic Johnson takes over.
Yeah. Magic's one of the owners of the Commanders. Pretty good for him. All right, we're going to come back. Look, training camp's in full-blown circus right now. I love it to see even the just different clips. I'm not a Jets fan. I remember I came on here and told you a week ago the Titans would win one more against the Jets, but that clip of Aaron Rodgers throwing to Garrett Wilson going around today, pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. And you're sitting there going, all right, this is why we love the NFL. The excitement, guys that can do things other guys can't do. The injuries are piling up. The Detroit Lions had a big one as well. And all these teams that are picked to be postseason teams, all of a sudden the injuries mount up. It changes things a lot. So hopefully the Charger players stay healthy. We're good to go. And then we'll have some training camp news for you when we come back. Again, you can watch us on YouTube. Please message all you want. We love reading the messages that you guys have. At the same time, you can listen to us, of course, on the Odyssey podcast. Again, you're listening to the Bolt City podcast. Josh Palais, Mario Heron. I'm Dave Palais. We'll talk to you next time.
And make sure to subscribe. Take your kid's iPad. Subscribe. Take your mom. Subscribe. Subscribe your aunt, grandpa. Hack someone. I don't care. Subscribe.